today?
Wonderful. How are you?
I'm good. And I'm Megan.
I'm Lily. This is our Tough Luck podcast.
Nice to see you, Lil.
Nice to be back with our tea.
Back
Cheers.
to the tea. Cheers.
Cheers. Megan had a very interesting day yesterday.
I helped a friend move and had a little bit of a foot accident, and I dropped a metal can on my toe and basically just bled and whatnot. So I'm probably losing a toenail in there. It's not been. It wasn't a fun day yesterday.
She's hobbling around.
Took some painkillers.
Literally.
So I'm gonna live it through.
Yeah.
I survived.
She survived.
I've never had anything.
She's here to tell the story.
I've never had a pain like that. I'll say.
Really?
Not as like my face turned red and I looked at it was. I've had pain, like I've stubbed my toe. I don't know. It's a different type of pain.
Yeah.
When you're losing a nail. So it's a little bit graphic. Sorry for all that, but the graphic stuff. But yeah, so it's been an interesting ride with just it taught me a little bit of lessons in the mix with how when it initially happened and I dropped the can on my toe, I didn't feel any pain. I was just kind of in shock. And then all of a sudden, woof, some pain hit me and I was in tears and crying and stuff and possibly just a lot of things just all at once and looking down at my toe was like, oh, it was pretty bad. Like sometimes you think it's pretty bad and then you find out later it was nothing. And that I'm like, okay, it was bad.
Yeah.
That I looked down.
A little validating. Yeah.
It's a bit validating.
Like, yeah, that was pretty bad.
That it looks pretty ugly to me. So I have this bandage on my foot and walking around and learning how to drive with my left foot, which I don't know if that means anything, but it's like it's been fun to. It's almost reminding me about how much we use each limb and each thing gets utilized, especially with your right foot.
Yeah.
I didn't know until you don't have it.
Exactly.
Use or lose sort of thing. But
yeah, I always get really frustrated when I hurt myself like that because it's like our bodies are so sacred, you know? And it's just like I find so much frustration when I like hurt myself or injure myself really badly or like break something or it's just like, oh my gosh, like I hurt this body that I love so much, you know? And we want to take care of our bodies and stuff, but things happen and there's definitely like lessons in it. And like every time I've hurt myself, I'm almost always like feeling this energy of like, okay, you need to like slow down and like take your time and chill out and like
that.
It's
probably trying to say that.
That's probably exactly what it's trying to say, like, oh my goodness, like you're doing too much, like just take some time for you. And
didn't you have a wrist thing last year?
That was about a year ago now.
That's so funny.
Almost a year ago that I fractured my wrist.
Which wrist was it?
My right wrist.
That's funny.
That's funny. And I fell on it. It got fractured, and I almost like didn't go to the hospital about it at first either because I didn't want to, and it didn't even hurt. Like it never hurt when I fractured it, but it was just like this feeling in my gut. Like I just felt it right here. I was like, you have to go to the hospital and get this X-ray because like something happened. And sure enough.
What'd you do again?
I was ice skating and I fell on it.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, literally. So I went to the doctor, they X-rayed it, and it was fractured.
Oh, shoot.
So it's okay. And it's better now, I think. Well, it's been a year, so.
You'll know if it isn't.
But yeah, it was like that, oh my gosh, like you need to slow down and yeah. But it was also really sad. It's like I love this body. And like your wrist you use for a lot. I'm learning
crazy.
that.
as soon as it happened, I was like, okay, I have to get to my phone because my phone was not in the same room. And I was hobbling with one foot, and I was like, shoot, I have... Yeah. That's gonna be a problem. Yeah. And my... putting on, like, even simple things... Like, putting on socks. Yeah. I can't even really put a sock on that foot because it's a little too painful for it. And so even with the pain meds I've took, it's still pretty painful for a sock. So I probably need to go to the doctor. But
I broke my toe before too. That's my other broken bone. And
shoot, which one?
My pinky toe. Oh no, it was my first ever broken bone. And it was when I was like living all by myself. Like I broke it in my apartment, falling down my stairs. And I was all by myself.
What?
Yeah. And it was really scary because, I don't know, like, I'd never, like, hurt myself so badly all by myself. Like, I had no one to call, no one to help me, no one to, like, give me a hug and comfort me and tell me everything was okay. And, yeah, it was pretty sad. It was pretty sad. Good. And, again, it was, like, that same feeling, like, oh, my gosh, this body's so sacred. And I just, like... heard it. I never went to the doctor, so I can't tell you if it's actually broken, but it does not look normal.
Oh no.
It does not. It like you can feel it.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure it's broken. But
oh no.
Like there's really nothing.
Can you move it? I know that's the test. That's my test. I have to do.
I think I can move it, but like if you feel it. It does not feel like a pinky toe is supposed to feel like. Let me just tell you that. But, like, there's not a lot the doctors can do for a broken toe anyway. So, usually, like, for you, like, keeping the toes tied together would probably be good. Like, that's what I did. I just kept my toes bandaged together. And then it, like, healed in the best way it could. I don't know. I didn't feel like I needed to go to the doctor for a toe.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But still, like, I was trying to stay off of it, give it all the love it needed, and, like... Yeah. Same thing, like, oh, my poor body, you know?
You feel it once
you have to give yourself a lot of grace if you hurt yourself, like, and just, I feel like it's mainly just, like, a sign to slow down, for sure.
Definitely is, and, it's interesting how that parallels in life, too, how, you know, we have these moments in time, even emotional pain, as well as physical pain.
Absolutely.
Where we go consistently, we're pushing through, and then all of a sudden, you know, something happens either traumatically or otherwise that really does halt you in your steps. Mm-hmm. What do you do in that circumstance? You think to yourself, okay, there's something going on here. What do I have left to give in terms of, okay, is this a sign that I need to stop or need to press pause on something? Mm-hmm. If I keep going, it might just get worse.
Right.
And you were mentioning something that you saw on Instagram, right?
Yeah. Like being sick, you know, and just like the whole like just getting sick, you know, and feeling whatever comes up when you're being sick, because your body's like trying to release, right? Your body's trying to like release these toxins. So like you know, acknowledging like when you have those symptoms and stuff. And like I feel like this world we live in is like, you know, like hustle culture. Like people always work when they're sick. I see it all the time. People still going into work, people continuing with their day, like not stopping, people sending their kids. Like I used to, if I felt sick, my parents would still send me to school, and like I'd still want to go sometimes, just because like you don't want to miss, you know, out. Like I didn't want to like miss out on homework assignments and stuff. I didn't want to like get behind just because I was sick, when really like it should be like that's like the most important thing, because like I said, our bodies are sacred. We love our bodies, right? That like this bodies are temple, and like. So really just taking the time when you're sick to like slow down and like nurture yourself and love yourself and stuff, and
you could even,
it's so important.
I think about this too, about how everything is so connected, and we have this body, mind, and spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And our spirit, if something in the trifecta there doesn't happen or is being neglected, we are told so many times by universe, God, etc., hey, this is being neglected. This is something that you need to put into your life. And then all of a sudden, bam, you can't do anything but that one thing.
Yeah.
You have nothing, like, the universe shuts off everything else.
Exactly. Like, if you're not going to slow yourself down, the universe is going to make you sick. You know, the universe is going to be like, boom, sore throat, snotty nose, upset stomach. Like, slow down, girl. You know?
Slow down.
So.
I know. And the more we resist it, I think, the worse it progresses.
Suppressing.
Yeah. And then you're just in this misery where you're like, okay, like, this is really bad at this point. I almost have it. There's certain things that stick with you over time. You were mentioning before the podcast, and you were saying how even if you don't emotionally process physical pain or emotional pain,
right,
you can essentially carry that with you into the future and maybe even future generations.
Exactly. And even into, like, future, like, relationships with other people, I feel like if you're just, like, suppressing these feelings and stuff, like, that's gonna bubble up, and that's gonna turn into something. Like, if you're just, like, not feeling all these things, that's gonna turn into, like, almost, like, I feel like, the word, it's escaped me, like,
it's okay.
Just, like, a really extreme version of any of those feelings, because it's just, like, you're just stuffing it down. So I feel like it could turn into, like, extreme anger, or extreme frustration, or extreme sadness, and that's gonna brush off onto other people. So it's, like, like, feeling your emotions, and feeling your pain, and feeling grief, feeling guilt, embarrassment, like, all those really hard feelings, like, is so important, because otherwise we're just, like, holding it in and stuffing it down, and like, that's actively hurting your nervous system and your peace, you know. So, like, feeling brings you peace, I think. Like, last night, like, this full moon's coming up on us. Last night I was just crying. I don't know why. I was just tearing up. I was feeling, you know. And and, like, my boyfriend came over right after that, and I was, you know, all crying and stuff, and he was, like, trying to comfort me and be like, oh my goodness, like, is everything okay? And I'm like, yeah, like, I'm literally just feeling, you know, I'm just a human right now, and it, like, sometimes you just have to cry for no reason.
Yes.
You know, and like, sometimes it's just, like, a bunch of things that build up, and you're like, oh my gosh, I just need to, like, cry and let this all out. And I think it feels really good to just cry every once in a while, you know.
Yeah, you're not a human doing or whatever it is. You're a human being.
Like, it wasn't even necessarily anything, like, big or bad that happened to me yesterday. It was just, like, I just need to, like, release, like, this weekend, you know, that I just had, like, this busy weekend. I just need to, like, and it wasn't even a bad weekend. I wasn't even, like, mad about the weekend. I just needed to release all the energy, you know, almost. And I blame it on the full moon a little bit too, like. Sure.
I think the cycles are necessary. I think the releasing is important. If we don't ever release, we just hold.
Exactly.
And it's good for you to cry. It's good for, I think, having stored energy is useless. It's just, it's not giving to the world, it's not getting out. And, you know, we have to care for ourselves. And in a way, you're ritualizing yourself by crying. It's a ritual cry, to release, to give away this thing of, you know, I feel this emotion, but I don't, if it doesn't ever release, then it's just with you and it becomes you.
Right.
And you don't want it to.
You can't even, like, name that emotion. Like, when my boyfriend was trying to be like, why are you crying? I'm like, I don't
Why are
like,
you crying?
Like,
That's know? Such a question.
Literally, like, what's wrong? You know, like,
yeah.
Honestly, I can't even really tell you. Like, I'm just a person,
you're also a girl.
Exactly.
And I think a lot of guys do that where they're like, not saying all guys, but I'm saying a lot of girls...
Well, he just wanted to be there for me. Like,
I'm not trashing your boyfriend. I promise. I promise you, no, I'm not doing that. But
I know.
But my husband does this too, where he will, he's just like, what's wrong? Like,
right.
And I'm like
sometimes you just don't even know. You just need to cry. Like, I'm just a girl.
Nothing.
I'm just a girl.
Go away.
I'm just feeling. That's usually what I say now. I'm just feeling.
I'm just feeling it.
And,
yeah.
And sometimes, like, I'm crying because I'm happy. And I'm just feeling, you know? Like, just feeling.
Yeah, it's fun. Girls and boys together, or like, anytime I think about Kent and I having some kind of, usually we don't fight a lot, but if there is a fight, it's usually around the same time each month, and it's like, we're gonna have a fight now, and we're not fighting in the sense of like we hate one another. Right. There's some deep-seated thing, but it's just,
I've seen, I haven't seen like the worst, like I haven't seen your bad fights or anything. I don't know if you have them, but I've seen like their little fights, and your guys' fights are just so out of love. Like, it's just so out of love for each other. It's so adorable. Oh my God. Like, you guys are just like arguing, but it's literally just because you love each other so much. Like,
I'll take I'd rather have it that way.
It's literally the cutest little fights I've ever seen. I'm like, oh my gosh, they're so in love with each other, and they just want to make sure they're okay. And like, it's really cute when you guys fight.
I appreciate that, because sometimes we feel like in the heat of the moment we're like, I just go away, and all these feelings, and it's like when you have an outsider who's witnessing a fight, they can say, you're just being cute.
Exactly.
And we're not.
But also sometimes you just need that space from your partner too. Like, that's important.
Yeah.
And
I probably do need some space. I probably do, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And just like realizing that like our irritation isn't really coming from, your partner. It's really like, it should be like a reflection, I feel like, almost. Like, I feel like it's important to like reflect on why your partner is irritating you, because it's probably just like a reflection of yourself,
Yeah.
Like,
right. Yeah, it's usually something.
It's usually like your own internal battle that It's And I mean, we also get irritable on a certain time of the month, like you definitely have that irritable time. So
it's
I try to be really mindful when I notice I'm being irritated, like I don't know if something's bothering me, and I'm just like kind of sitting there like, oh my gosh, like I feel really irritated right now, and then I'm like, wait, why am I feeling irritated? Like, there's really no reason. Like, the situation's neutral. It's just my own like internal feeling, and then trying to like acknowledge that and then like change that feeling. It's not easy. It's not easy to be that mindful all the time, especially when you're on that time of your month too, you just need to be irritated sometimes too.
It's a game. It's that mental, and it's the mental and the emotional in dissonance, and they're trying to talk to one another and interact with one another, but sometimes that emotion just gets a little high, and then you're just, okay, logic, come in here, earth energy, and try to ground me in this moment and teach me that lesson that you wanted to teach me, so I don't have to keep relearning the same lesson over and over again, and having to reiterate the same thing. And as soon as I, in my personal life, and maybe in your personal life, viewer, as soon as we all have this understanding that these times do come up, but interacting with it and having kind of that internal monologue with oneself, and saying, okay, what can I gain from this, instead of what oh no, woe is me, what loss I had right there, because it does hurt transition into a new state of mind. It's a little painful at first. And
absolutely. And you have to give yourself a lot of grace, too. And
it's beautiful. It's, and it's not a seamless process like in the movies. The movies make it sound like everything is just, this is step 1, step 2. No. But we often go back to these old lessons.
Yeah, and I think it's important really to just, like, take it day by day, you know? Like, because we can't be perfect all the time, you know? So it's just, like, taking simple steps, like, day by day. And I feel like, I saw this thing that said, like, the way you live each day is the way you live your whole life, you know? I feel like we have, like, this big picture of,
that is...
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know why that really blew my mind.
I know, I saw that on the internet. We love the internet.
We do.
And, and I was like, holy shit, like, yeah, that's deep, you know?
Right.
Right. 'Cause, like, like, we can have this big picture of how, like, we want to live our life and yada, 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 but it's really, like, in those small moments day by day. It's, like, how you wake up, you know, and how you have your morning and how you eat and how you interact with people, because really every day is, like, a new chance to be a better person, right? Like...
I feel like this is spiritual boot camp right now.
This is spiritual boot camp.
This is spiritual boot camp.
Yeah.
We're having at the moment, and just
day by day.
It's just I think about
one day at a time, one morning at a time, one evening at a time. Like it's really that simple, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone told me a long time ago that. Well, it's a podcast, but it's not someone I interact with personally, but they were saying learn one lesson each day and just take it one step at a time, because that's all we can do. We can't learn multiple lessons at once. We're not supposed to be like, how could one ever try to do 5 million lessons all at the same time? That's not even possible.
Exactly.
Yeah,
literally.
Well, cool. Well, it's one of those beautiful things too, where you get into these rituals, you get into the habit of, once that bad thing happens, centering yourself, you kind of get into, you kind of learn a new ritual at the more and more bad things that happen, which is even more strange in my brain, because maybe that's why bad things happen sometimes, just to train your brain to become adaptable to change and adaptable to what are you going to do when things happen. And it's building your character, it's building who you are next, and building this, I think about how, in video games and things like that, they have iterations of the first iteration, and might have some bugs in it, and then they edit. This is my programmer. I used to be a programmer, so I have that mindset of things.
This is her metaphor.
It's like solving the bugs, fixing the little things one step at a time. And then, it's never perfect, but it's near perfect when you get the final product.
Absolutely.
And then you go back a little bit, and then maybe you make a new video game that comes out that's this amazing masterpiece that's even more expansive and more everything. And Jupiter's entering Taurus coming up on May 1st, and it's going to be there for about a year, till I think May 14th, 2025, which is something else right there. It's the planet of expansion entering into the sign of material gain and material wealth, and the beauty of it all. And I do think that with it entering into this sign, it's opening up the minds of others to another possibility in their world, and maybe it helps you with when bad things do happen. Maybe this is the year that you get out of it a little quicker and get out of that. You expand your mind a bit. So, anywho.
Yeah, I feel like it also has to do, like, with a lot with, like, just being present, that day by day kind of mentality. It's, like, really just being in each and every moment present. And just like aware and being mindful, and you know, it's not easy all the time, like it never is, and but I feel like that's really the goal, and I feel like that's how we accomplish that, you know, is by being really mindful of our days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, that's good.
Presence. Yeah, being in the moment, being in every moment, you know.
Yeah.
And we have our phones with us all the time, so it's so easy to disassociate from the moment and leave. But
yeah,
just like,
especially how easy it can be with all these apps and
stimulation and work and all of it, really. And just being with the people that you're around, you know. One of my biggest pet peeves is like when I'm hanging out with somebody and, you know, they're on their phone. And I was just doing this to Megan earlier, actually. That's so silly, because I was like, Megan was like, you need a vacation. So I'm over here scrolling on my phone, like looking at Airbnbs, you know. Megan's talking to me. You know. So I'm literally guilty of it too, because it's just so easy. It's so easy to look at all these cute little Airbnbs, like, oh, this one has a hot tub, this one, you know, like, it's so easy to just, like, leave the moment and leave.
I don't fault you for it, though, Lily, because it's human.
And it's the world we live in.
You want to go on a vacation? You should look on that phone and check out those Airbnbs and get your vacation.
I feel like my biggest pet peeve more, like, because I'm not, like, in that I wasn't texting other people. Like, I feel like when you're actively, like, texting others or trying to, like, engage with other people through a phone while you're with someone in person, like, that's a big pet peeve of mine, because it's like, you're literally with a person right now. Like, why are you talking to this person who's so far away?
Yeah.
And that's just me. Like, I'm sure other people don't have a problem with it, but just being with the people that you're around and really, like, appreciating them, I feel like is also how we can go living day by day.
That's what yoga teaches us.
Absolutely.
It teaches us to be present with, because ultimately you only have this moment.
Yeah.
I'm only, once we record this podcast, usually I wrap up, we talk for a little bit, and then I'm off my way.
Yeah.
And then a new day comes around with new challenges, and there's no guarantee of tomorrow.
Exactly.
There's no, So
you have to, like, love the hell out of the people that you're with in that moment, right?
Yeah.
It's what you got, you know.
Lily time's only
exactly.
this little bit, which I have the privilege to have every week, so it's a beautiful thing, and I don't have. I know that, how busy you are, especially. Yeah. It's probably, I'm one of the few. So
literally.
It's probably that gets to see you, so I'll take it. But anyways, we're so excited for everybody who is listening to the podcast, who's subscribed to Clairvoyance Yoga's Yoga Sphere. Thank you so much. Yeah. We're very, very excited for what's to come. We have so many ideas. We probably need to choose it, you know, to less and less soon. Probably pick something a little bit, figuring out which one we want to do next and what we're gonna make of it. So, but anyways, well, Lily,
what a lovely little chat we had there. Yeah, I hope you guys can find more presence in your life. Yeah, appreciate the people around you and love yourself more.
Yeah. Yes.
Wow. Give yourself more grace and compassion, and take care of yourself if you're hurting. Yeah. Take care of yourself if you're sick. Yeah. Take care of yourself if you're perfectly fine.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We'll do. We'll do. Well, thank you, Lily. And
thank you, Megan.
Well, have a great week, everybody. Mwah. Bye.